All righty. I think we got it. Let me confirm it real quick. This is our my first run here. Let's see. Says we're live. Awesome. Signal looking good too. All right. Promotional media. Well, Anthony, where'd you go? Hold on. Anthony dropped out. I don't know how that happened. Oh, here he comes again. Hold on. So yeah, promotional media with Andrew Cox. Going to be doing some interviews, promotional type things. Talking to various people in all types of industries. Kind of get their perspective on life, where they're at, how they got there, and where they want to go, and how much impact they want to have on society, if any. Just the immediate circle, how far out, things like that. So let's get Anthony back in here. Our first guest is Anthony Boggs, a fantastic musician, awesome artist, great MC, good man. So do you want to, I know I just kind of introduced you a little bit, but do you want to introduce yourself, maybe throw out like your social medias or somewhere where people can find you?
My name is Anthony Boggs. You can find me on all social media platforms. A lot of them you can just find me under Anthony Boggs or Anthony Daniel Boggs on my Facebook. But yeah, I make music. I've been making music for the last 10 years. Are you able to see me?
Yeah, yeah, perfectly.
I, okay, because on my screen I can't see myself, so I just wanted to
I
make sure
got
you
you.
could see me.
Yep, totally clear, at least on my end here. I'll check again on YouTube, but go ahead.
Um, and I've been basically just trying to find underground talent and see like what they got and what their like perspective on life is because everybody's got a different perspective and then adapt from each different perspective because that's what life's about is learning.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, so then I guess we'll just get kind of right into it. What was the early life of Anthony Boggs like? Where were you born? Where'd you grow up? What kind of
I
stuff do you
grew up in Galion, Ohio. I spent a lot of my time just playing with my toys and by myself. I was really into like card games, so like I just like become really strategic or play chess with like my sister. Like my mom was always working, and I didn't have my dad until like I grew up a little bit later in life because he was busy like taking care of my other brothers.
You had a separate family?
Yeah, we have I have two different separate families because they have a different mom than me.
So your dad, he came back into your life as in like full time. Did he leave the other family to come to your side of the family?
Yeah.
Did he leave your side of the family to go to the other side, the other people in the first place? Like was he cheating? What was going on there, man?
Man, it was a whole thing. Like he left my mom and got with her, and then she didn't want her to have it or him to have anything to do with her. So then at that point, when they had kids together, it made things kind of complicated. And then they eventually were just like, oh, they want nothing to do with my dad. So
It's unfortunate, man. I am glad at least that he's back with you guys, just because I guess biased, you're my friend, but I guess it sucks that he left the other side too. But um, that kind of brings
he
us
didn't
into certain
want
things.
to.
Yeah, well,
Like
sure, I got
it's just a thing about like he's not able to like reconnect with them like he really wanted to. Because like when you're gone for so long, it's hard to like grow a connection back.
Sure. Um, when growing up and you didn't really have him, and you were just, strategically playing chess and card games and stuff like that, um, what what type of impact do you think that that had on you, at least like to the type of man that you are, and do you think that that kind of pointed you in the direction like the industry that you're in now, or is it like encumbrance of the entire fight that you have, this whole mission of trying to help everybody and everywhere? Like, did it specifically push you in a direction, or did it kind of push you wildly and you had to kind of hone it in? What kind of impact?
See, when I was like by myself a lot, I only had a few friends in the beginning, and then like I don't know, I just had trouble with like being social with people. That was my major problem. I had like social anxiety, and that's why like in the early years of my life, I wasn't really like making music. I was more like developing myself, watching things, observing, and then like when I got like later on in life, probably like because I was like on medication when I was younger for a long period of time. So that's like a big blur for me. Besides like when I got past 18, bro.
What was the
Honestly.
medications for?
Um ADHD, a lot of like bipolar issues. They were just like trying to like regulate my moods, which when they use a lot of those at the same time, it doesn't really regulate your moods. I was like not myself. It made me really angry.
Sure, I understand. I've been there, man. So, as a kid, similar diagnosis, and they did, similar things with pills, and it just felt like it made it worse, kind of exacerbated the problem, if I said
Yeah,
that
and
right.
it's like my parents didn't know that that was going to happen, you know. The
Right.
doctors were just
Well,
like,
yeah,
"Here, you need this."
it's terrible that parents get stuck in the situations trying to trust somebody who just seems to want to stuff pills down your throat or whoever's throat, just to get that bottom line up. Um, and
Yeah,
you
because they
trust
want
them
that
because
dollar.
right, and you trust them because hey, who knows better than a doctor, right?
Right.
A
And
little
then it like took
ridiculous.
me having to be like taken to a psych ward for evaluation after like having a whole mental breakdown, and they're like, "Oh, he's autistic. That's his problem." And it's like, "Oh, okay. Well,
So you're
maybe."
diagnosed. You're diagnosed autistic then?
Yeah, I have Asperger's, which is like high functioning autism.
Okay. When did you get that diagnosis?
When I was like 14, 15.
Again, kind of like when you were alone, doing the strategic thing, and you were kind of, was that shaping you? And so, what were you thinking, like when you finally wanted to burst out of your bubble? You wanted to stop being the social, um, anxious person and this like kind of hermit, hermit crab. When you wanted to come out and start interacting with people, what type of impact of you being home alone, like what were you doing to throw yourself ready, or to get yourself ready to throw yourself out into the world like that?
Nothing. I literally just threw myself to the wind, and then, like, eventually, like, people started, like, hearing me sing. They're like, "You got a good voice," and I was like, "Oh, so I should do this." Because I was, like, singing with my s like, I use music sometimes, like, as therapy, especially when I went to the psych ward. Needed something, to, like, to cling on to, and then I started just singing, and people said I was pretty good, and then I started, like, becoming more open with myself and, like, opening up to people. And then like I found people in a different niche that were like into the card games, and like they got me into the church, and then they got me into like meeting a whole bunch of different people in my life, which kind of like really fast forwarded to like this point where I'm like blessed to be here have so many amazing people that are around me all the time. Like, I don't know, it like kind of molded me into who I am today.
Uh, I know we're somewhat on limited time, so I will kind of breeze through some things, and I don't have notes today. I just kind of wanted to give this kind of a test run, man. See if we can even hash out a good conversation worth people watching, which I already think it is. So, just kind of trying to push through. When you say it's the things that made you the man you are today, what is that? What type of a man are you today? Is he frozen? His signal's a little choppy, guys, so bear with it. He's buffering. There he is. Got it back. Did you hear the question? Did you get me, or should I repeat
I did not get your question.
it? No worries, man. So you say that's what made you the man that you are today. Well, what specifically is that? What type of a man are you today?
Somebody who is there for somebody when they need somebody to talk to. Because I needed somebody to talk to when I was younger, so that's why I went to like therapists and stuff. And like, I guess really I just wanted a friend, and I just didn't know how to talk to somebody. And then the only people I could really talk to was the people I was going to that was a doctor. So I felt like I had to talk to them. And then eventually I just
Obligation.
grew out of my social bubble. Yeah, like obligation. It kind of felt obligated to have to talk to people. And then like especially like when you're in school, like you had to talk to your teachers, answer questions, do things. And I
Do
was
you
in
think
special
that
classes, so like it kind of made things a little bit more difficult too,
when
because
you
I had to
speak
be
of
like more one on one with some people.
right, it put you in, I mean, you were pushing yourself out there and then having to do that. You're starting to get into smaller circles to get you ready for the bigger world, when you're
Yeah.
talking obligations to speak or to get out of your bubble and things like that, the things that make you uncomfortable, but in the long run, it's good for you. Do you think that, which I kind of answered the question I'm going to ask, but that's my opinion. Do you think that it's good for you or for people to be pushed outside of the comfort zones um, when it's now I know it can kind of be a subjective thing, when it's good for somebody. I don't think it's good for somebody to stay indoors at all times. I think it's good to be interactive with society and things like that. No matter how bad
Yeah.
somebody thinks it is, it's still good to go out there. So saying when people are uncomfortable doing things and you have others trying to push them to do something that would be productive in their life, and you have other people who's trying to gas it up, being like, nah, man, just let them be them. They have to stay within their comfort zone. You don't want them to be anxious, or you don't want them to go outside things that they're not comfortable with. Now, do you think that is a good thing, or do you like to keep somebody in their comfort zone, or do you think it's a good thing to push them out and get them into things that would normally make them a little
Sometimes it can be good. My sister gave me the advice that maybe the thing that you're looking for could be on the other side of being uncomfortable.
I like that. How old's your sister?
She would be 35.
Okay. And I don't think we got you. How old are you?
I am 30 years old. I will be turning 31 this year.
31 this year. Gotcha. Um, so the comfort zone or the obligations that made you push outside your comfort zones that have now molded you, shaped you to the man that you are today, which is a dependable friend, a very
Yeah, somebody,
talented. Go ahead.
I mean, like anybody could like talk to me about anything. I've had a lot of people talk to me about a lot of things that go on in their life, and it's like crazy sometimes. And it's like, I don't know how I would handle that situation, but I'd be there for them and like try to help them the best way that I can. Because some people have been at rock bottom, like living on the streets without food. Some people really struggle. And that really like is crazy to think about. Like people don't know about certain things that you can do within your community. Like there's outreach centers and there's like other things like that, but they don't tell us about that stuff when we're like younger. You have to like figure this stuff out on your own.
Yeah, they don't really give all of that type of
A
information.
guideline.
Right. I think that might have to do with, they don't want kids going out there and trying to help the homeless getting kidnapped and, taken advantage of in some way or something like that, maybe. But I do understand that they try to keep you in the dark there. And sometimes when you're wanting to reach out in the dark with your light and pull people out of that, you're left with this ignorance of information nobody told you. Like you had no idea you can do this shit. Actually, you could do this or you could do that. No, I had no idea. I didn't know there was dedicated places for this. I didn't know that there was dedicated people for that type of job. No, I had no idea. Like
Yeah,
there's
like
this
there's certain
people.
things that people just don't know.
Did you know I think it's in Texas. I'm not sure though. It could be New York, but there's these people that feed the homeless and they get in trouble for it all the time. They get ticketed. The cops come there and they try and force them to stop feeding them because it's illegal to feed the homeless. Is that
That
crazy?
shouldn't be illegal because like in the eyes of like Jesus broke bread with his brothers. And what are we? We're all brothers and sisters at the end of the day. So like how could that be illegal?
I wish I knew. And being that you brought up the church earlier, Jesus now. Um, so one of the things that I want to get into with some of the people that I talk to, a lot of them are in the influencing market, influencer. They have a little bit of uh impact on small or large bits of society. So people look up to them, they want to know their ideology, they want to know the things that they think are good or bad, and I'd say sometimes unfortunately for people, they're very malleable even as adults, and they like to follow the trends and things like that. So you get left with a lot of perspective, or you get a lot of speculation, a lot of assumptions getting left when you don't have artists that are really coming out and like putting a hard stance on things that they believe in and shit like that. And so I might ask some questions that are a little too personal. If you don't want to answer them, it's totally fine to move on. Just remember though, after I ask the question, if the answer is if you don't want to answer it, people are again just left to speculation and assumptions. And for the most part, as society seems to be reflecting on the negativity, they're most likely going to go with the worst answer in their brain. So just saying, I want to pigeonhole you into questions that you don't want to answer, but maybe, maybe
No, you're good.
it's okay to take a stance. Is kind of what I mean, man. Some people are just scared to really put it down and say this is what I believe in, and I think a big part of that is because they know that when you start being definitive, you start dividing. You start dividing the people that may be following you and thinking that you believe one thing when you really believe another, and then the bottom line starts to get affected. And that's the type of people that we're dealing with in the industry, that they just worry more or less about the bottom line and not really about the effects that they have on society, you know. And
But it
uh
shouldn't
and I
even
kind
really be about a bottom line. It should just be
I
about what you do for society. Because like what are you gonna do? Like when you have money, it's all materialistic. If you're just buying items, well, when you think about it, you could do so much with your money. You could help out so many people when you get it. If you actually made it and you had millions and you have just so much money, you could do anything.
a lot more than just buying more cars, bigger houses, more jewelry,
Yeah, yeah, and
more
paying more
vacation.
taxes on things, you could literally use it for donations, and then that would be taken out of your money.
Yeah, that's not how
What
the
you
rich stay
owe,
rich, though. You know,
technically.
the rich, yeah, the rich don't stay rich by giving it away. And I think that this is kind of the thing. What kind of riches are you banking on? You know, again, or like you said, materialistic. That's not the riches that I want. I like my riches in family and friends and reliability. You know,
Yeah, because like
I
think about it, like somebody could have diseases, and you could be somebody who just donated money to help some child that got this new disease that came out, and they're trying to figure out a cure for it.
right, right. You can make so much change in the world, and not even on a materialistic stance too. When you have certain views, if you're projecting the way that you believe society should run, or at least like a baseline of I think that people should be good by doing this, then you have your fan base, man, that are listening and are like, okay, yeah, me too. I think that that's a good idea, you know. But when you leave it so vague, sometimes, man, people again they're just left up to their own demise, their own devices, you know, and it's not always
Yeah.
the best outcome, you know. So when and such a long-winded thing. So what type of religion do you follow? What would you know, what are you? What are you, man? You're buffering again. All right, folks. Don't forget to hit that like. If you haven't subscribed, do
Like
that as
Pentecostal, we
well.
believe in the Holy Ghost.
There you go. Okay. You were chopping up. What's up? So what are you?
Pentecostal.
You're a Pentecostal, and that is a form of Christianity, correct?
Yes, it is. So my church I went to, we believe that like everybody deserves to be saved in one way or another. So we try to reach out to anybody we can. My church, they even like do this like every Thursday we do food for the people up at the Legion, just free food. Anybody can come get it. We just help people. The month they
You're starting to break up, starting to robot
hell out
out.
there too. And
You're
it's
starting to
just want to get
robot.
people together.
Hold on. Let your signal catch
Another
up for a
even
second.
um
It's all good. Starting to chop bad. Signal's getting choppy. Just we'll give it a half a second. Recap that. We'll say what you were doing is that some of them
can you hear
have
me now?
this. Yes, perfectly. And so you were saying that you guys have a program where you go to the Legion and you set up for food and anybody can come there and feast, break bread.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
everybody
cool.
breaks bread, and then they have a little thing where they talk about Jesus afterwards. If you have time, if you don't, then you can leave. It's okay. You don't have to be in obliged to listen, but we just want you to come and be around people who will support you.
No, they feed you first and then they give you the message, which is pretty awesome though, because it makes it where you're not forced to sit there and listen to something that you may not want to, which I think is a good
Yeah,
way to get people to want to listen instead of trying to force them to. But I'm not like a whole big thing on this tone police and shit, man. I think people need to stop being such babies when they're being told facts, you know, like just suck it up, buttercup. So so you got your religion. Do you think that that motivates you through world and your impact on the industry that you're trying to be successful in?
yeah, because so as my music, I'm just having it as be like a message. I like the basic beginnings. Like that's why my first album that I had this like only on SoundCloud was called New Beginnings. It's the beginning of something, and then you have uh the like rock star lifestyle because like I started hanging around different people. So then I was like partying, living like a rock star, and then eventually I'm gonna work on some more albums. I can't remember all my album names right now off the top of my head.
You got that many, or is just that long ago?
It's been that long ago. I haven't been dropping a whole bunch of music. I've been working on it, trying to get it to sound up to par where I want it to be.
I got you. That I do mastering things, man. Getting the sound right. Very important. I go
Yeah,
and
it is.
scroll around. Yeah, I go and scroll around YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Not as much on Instagram, but at least for this particular thing, and watch people do song reviews and things like that. And I think that one of the biggest things that people don't do is take it and get that shit finished, man. They need to smooth that thing out, dude. You know, go to the studio and get it. What is it called when they finalize it? What is it called?
Uh, it's mixed and mastered, and then
There you go.
I
Mixed,
just
mastered.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mastered.
Mixed and mastered. Right.
And
They
sometimes
just they don't.
remix the mastered.
Right, I got you. Yes. Well, sometimes either the program ain't good or the person isn't good that did it. You know.
It's
So
all up to like opinion because everybody has different ears. So it's music is subjective.
I do agree with that, but I also think that there are some objective stances or things about music. You know, I think objectively some songs are good and subjectively they're good. You know, I do think that there's kind of like what they say, beauty is subjective, but there's the thing that they call the golden ratio. And I do believe that
Yeah.
I think that has, I think there's a golden ratio for everything, for everything. I do think that but for the most part, I agree. Yeah, absolutely. It is pretty subjective. I do agree. But I think that if you're listening to it and it sounds like you're singing in a hallway, you know, I think objectively everybody would say that that's fucking terrible, right? And sometimes when I hear that shit,
Yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck did this delusional person play this to be reviewed, you know? And I guess that kind of plays into the subjective because they must think it's good if they're gonna submit that shit and be like, yo, I'm gonna put this on, dude. People are gonna hear it, they're gonna be like, what? It's the next fucking, you know, whoop de woo or whatever. It's the next fucking the chicken dance or who knows, right? It's the next electric slide and shit. They're like, I got the hit, dude. I got the hit. And it's just the most god awful thing that you ever heard, man. It's like cats being beaten in a sack, you know, in a burlap sack, just being smacked on the ground. I had it happen last night. You heard it, dude. Wasn't that last night?
Yeah.
That was last night. That was fucking awful. That I have no clue why that person thought that was good enough to submit for other people to listen to. Like that you just subjected others to that. And now it's on the internet forever. You're a fucking evil monster.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad.
That's why I'm laughing. I can't stop.
It was so
Oh
bad.
man.
All right. Moving forward with that. So that's your influence on things. At least that's what influences you. Now, what type of impact or influence do you want to have on society with what you're doing?
I want everybody to realize that we all bleed the same. Like that's why I made with my friends a group and we called it Bleed and Ink. Well, one of my friends started it and I joined it. But the whole mission is that we all bleed the same. Like it's we all have a purpose. And if you don't see it yet, but you will eventually. And everybody has trials and tribulations and you have to go through those things to set you up for the moments that you needed later on.
Like that. What about the industry do you not like? What is the biggest thing that you think needs to stop or change for the better?
People hating on each other all the time. That needs to stop. Like influencing people to dislike somebody else all the time. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Like I guess it depends on the choices that they, the opinion that somebody's gonna have. But if it's like something super small, or like somebody's like opinion on like God or like what they believe in, like certain beliefs like that, or like dissing on them, or just because you think that you're better than somebody, you can just hate on somebody. That's not cool. Like we all have a
I
purpose at the end of the.
I will. I want to ask a little more on that. Then, if you're gonna say, people shouldn't hate on other people's for their beliefs. Can you hear me right now? Because you're looking choppy. All right, he's buffering again. Again, guys, opportunity for me to tell you to please hit the like, subscribe, share it out, tell your friends. This is going to be a platform of people to get their position of life, their position of their industry, what they're trying to influence society in, if at all. Are they just trying to, make it for themselves, their little circle, their family, you and yours type thing. Um, open to all discussion here. Trying to hold on, he's buffering. Trying to figure out if we can be a hub for like connections for collaborations and things like that. Are you back?
Can can you hear me?
Yeah, a little choppy. It's starting to clear up though. There you go. I got you back now. All right. So when you were saying that you don't want people to really hate on each other for their beliefs and things like that. Now, that's within reason, obviously, correct? Like there are some beliefs that
Yeah,
for sure. Okay. All right.
yeah.
Just making sure.
There's certain beliefs you just can't be cool with. Yeah, because like
Okay.
I already know your beliefs on certain things, and I agree with
All right.
you on what you stand for real.
Okay, all right. Just making sure, sometimes when people start saying that, I just want to make sure you're not talking in a monolith. Of course, there are some certain things that are like, yo, man, you believe that shit, dude, you're fucking whack, and you should be called out. And then
Right.
also, and then
So you got
also, if you're just curious, if you're the one to start the shit, I do think that is it not justified for a response back? So, as in the industry, if somebody's dissing you publicly on there, do you think that it's justified for a public response back? Not saying it's right, but is it justified? Like, if you're gonna do this one action, expect the opposite reaction.
yeah, that can happen. Some people do that. I started to learn that I should not do that because that's just going to cause more conflict. So like
Okay.
I'll talk it out with the person. I because forgiveness is the better thing to have, especially depending on the circumstances. Because like at the end of the day, to lose a friend over something that could be like minuscule, something that could be just talked about over like a small little disagreement, I I ain't gonna push my religion on you. So why would you disagree with me? Or like I ain't gonna like be I don't there's so many things that you could bro, I don't even know. There's
No
so
worries.
much.
I agree. I do think that forgiveness is probably the better side of it. I do know that I've seen in the industry where there was some beef, going on, and it's always a question. How do you address it? How do you address it? Do you address it head on, publicly, head on, personally, ignore it, um, shelve it?
And
Like
like
how?
even like when you try to talk to them in person, you can't even get to talk to them in person because like it could just cause more conflict. So then you have to go to like resort to like trying to talk to them through texting, and then sometimes that doesn't work, and then sometimes you have to like I guess do what life does. If it's a big issue and they are like deframing your character, I guess you could try to diss them back, but like you do whatever you want to do in the music industry, I guess.
Yeah, again,
Everybody's
agree.
entitled to their own opinion on it.
Sure, but
If
then
somebody's gonna,
when you start doing that though, then the when people start taking the actions to their opinions, all of a sudden you got, fuckery going around.
yeah,
All the whole industry will collapse, dude, between just because two people, and it's because the label's so it's big enough that they're affiliated with so many other people. It's like, don't do business with him because he's a bitch, and it gets spread out like that. I think that that's very damaging, um, to the entire music industry itself, man. And I think that I was looking it up, and I can't. You can't really pinpoint when, but I was trying to look it up. When did music really shift from like humans started doing it when they were mocking animals? They were trying to mimic animals out in the wild and things like that. But then there was a shift sometime for music to pass along stories, to pass along rebellion. Um, it literally was used to fight against oppression, and I
yeah,
just and for people to think that they can just make these like WAP, like wet ass pussy or whatever, dude, I think this the just disgusting fucking music.
yeah,
And everybody's like, well, it's just music, man, it's just music. It's like, no, there's a lot of impact that it has on society. We used to influence people, like the Underground Railroad had songs to teach people how to get the fuck out of an oppressed slavery state. You know what I mean? Like it is a moving, emotional entity almost. Like I think music is almost alive, it fuels people, it gives life to people, it will make somebody feel, and those feelings will make them act all the time.
yeah. It's frequencies because our body
Sure.
reacts to things in certain different ways. Like because we are made of water and water reacts to the way things sound. We will adapt to the way things make us feel. Like if you yell at somebody, they'll think that you're like angry at them, so they could feel fear, or like that's just a involuntary response to the frequency.
Yeah, dude, I do. I
Especially
agree with
like
that.
giving somebody goosebumps.
What do you mean? I was about There you go.
That somebody's hair up, like when they're literally like sick and just feel their emotion through them. I don't know. There's like something different about it. I've heard a lot of performances in my life where it just was like, wow, that was like, wow. I don't even, that came out of you, wow. Like, wow. You know what I mean?
Sure. I actually do. Uh, I
Especially like
get
when I
that.
was like doing praise and worship, you can hear that from people. Like some people will just be like kids singing in the choir, you can hear them singing their soul out and it's like, wow. Like you have the potential like one day if you wanted to actually like sing, you could like change somebody's life. I can hear it in you. You're like a young old soul.
A young old soul. I like that. Sorry. Yeah, man, there's so much influence that can be had, or that music has on people for sure. And I think that people are ex exploiting it. I guess for sure they're exploiting it, man, but they're not utilizing it to the best of their ability. I see people with so much talent, and it seems like left with it or something when they should be going right. It's just like you have so much more skill in you to put that out, you know? I think that it just you could have done better for yourself and for others. So
Yeah,
yeah.
there has been times where, like, I don't know, it you just I when you freestyle on like beats, you could just not feel the vibe. And then now
Right.
that's out into the air because you just didn't feel the vibe that day. And I think that's what
So
happens with a lot of these. You know, some of them just don't feel the beats as much as they used to. Some of them aren't really connecting with the music as much as they really used to.
yeah, or it's just the beat and they're not really giving a shit what the words say.
Yeah.
What song do you think is your best song that you made but didn't have the impact that you wanted it to? Like when you made it, you're like, man, this is a banger. People are gonna really, really like this one. And you put it out there and it just didn't do what you wanted it to. What song would that be?
Last Days. And I know it's only on SoundCloud, but like that song, it had a lot of meaning. Like, if today's your last day, what would you try to say? Build me up or cut me down, either way it goes around. That's what I say in the chorus. Like, that's a relatable thing. I felt like a lot of people feel that. And I mean, I know the mix and mastering wasn't the greatest, but like, I felt even though there was a message that people would probably relate to it more, and I felt like it would probably have more plays than what it did.
um, what song and what was the name of that again? I'm sorry.
Last Day.
Last Day. And what album? Or was that a single?
That was a part of Life Changes. I remember my album name now, Life Changes, because sometimes life changes.
Can you hear that music in the background?
I cannot.
You don't hear any music? Okay, good. Because it's upsetting me right now. I tell people to be quiet out there, man, and it's just music playing. So anyway, so what hold on, what did I just press? What is this? I am not oh there we go. I'm not good with technology, man, and this is my new laptop. So I just touched something and put something on the screen.
And this
Anyway,
was the first run, too.
what's that?
And this was the first run of your podcast, too.
Yeah, I know, right. So, what would be what do you think, which I don't know how many people are really gonna like this question or answer it much, but I don't give a shit. What do you think your worst song is? The thing that when you put it out and you heard it, like you finished it all, you put it out there and you thought, ah, this is a fucking heap of shit. Why the hell did I do that?
One last time, but I know some of my friends will say that that's one of their favorites because I've already heard it before.
Well, it's called One Last Time.
Yeah, it was my first song I made.
Oh,
So for like me, I when I look back to like at the beginning, I didn't really like my music because I was just rhyming to rhyme. You know what I mean?
yeah, sure. So there wasn't a lot of meaning
Because
behind it.
yeah, there wasn't like a whole bunch of meaning behind. Well, there was meaning, but like I was just rhyming useless words for reasons for not reasons.
I get it. That's funny. You just wanted it to sound, you just wanted it to have that flow. Whether the word made sense or not, you
Yeah,
wanted
just
it, you
trying
had,
to flow, especially like it was the first time being in a studio too, so like that was like me being like, I don't even know what I'm doing in here. Well, actually, it was my second time being in the studio. Second time, because the first time we did something and I told him to throw it out.
It
I
was
still
that
have it
bad.
on my phone, but I'm yeah,
Look, man,
I don't even listen to.
one day you do see yourself successful in your life, whether it's in music and or other industries, correct?
Yeah,
When
in
when
making an
that day
impact
comes.
in something, because in life I've saved some people's lives, so I feel like I've already made an impact, and now it's just trying to reach out to more people.
So when that day comes and you're tip top and you're saving people left and right, all Captain Save a Ho, are you going to release that song and let people know humble beginnings? This is where I used to be. This is the level I was. Here I am now, successful, living it up, got the everything that you need, the picket fence, wife, kids, all the whatevers. Here's where I started though, everybody. Let me show you how bad it used to be. Would you ever? Because you
I
have it
guess
still.
I
You're
can humble myself.
you're
I
saving
could,
it. Why do you still have it?
because it's a memory.
Sure. And are you one day possibly going to share that memory with others?
I don't know. I mean, some people have already heard it, so
I got you.
because I have heard it around before. Because I was like, "Hey guys, check this out," and they're like, "Oh, you need to some improvement there, buddy." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I just really like the flow." And they're like, "Yeah, you got a mean flow, bro, but like keep improving."
It wasn't as bad as what we heard last night, though, was it?
Oh no, no, no.
All right.
At least I knew a good producer. I can at least say that the dude knew what he was doing.
All right, that's good. Yeah, if you're gonna put something out that's not top quality, at least on your ability, try and make sure at least it sounds good, right? Make sure that shit's fucking mixed and
I
mastered
had to
right.
pay for it.
You had to pay for it. It's the worst thing you did, and you had to pay. That's hilarious, dude. That's so fucking funny. I love it. Um. All right. So when let me see here. I'm trying to kind of go maybe a little bit back more. Just when you were growing up as I guess a young not young teenager but young man, and you decided that you wanted to pursue music. What music did you start off with? Because I know that you have like rock in you, you got rap, you
Oh
got
man, I
is there like
listened to
classical?
everything. So
Yeah,
when
but you
I
perform
grew
it as
up
well.
with, yeah, I grew up with a lot of popular music because that's what I was just listening to until my dad came around, and then it became all I was listening to was a whole bunch of rap, and then like
Does your dad?
say, yeah, my dad listens to a lot of rap, and then around like 2010 was when I started listening to Christian music. Like 2015 is when I got into the emo punk music and like the metal, heavy metal, because I just wanted to branch out. Uh, I listened to a little bit of country, but not too much. I listened to classical when I was in school, I guess, because they made you a music class. And then when I got a piano when I turned 12, I learned like Mozart, Beethoven.
So, would you say that that's the artist that influenced you the most? I was gonna ask that. What artists? What are your like? So,
Influence?
so hold on, because it might be two different questions on that. All right. So I want to say influence isn't as much as your favorite. So you might have been influenced by something that you don't. They might be the same thing, but what was your most influenced artist? And then what is your favorite? Who is your favorite artist?
Oh, it's impossible to have just one favorite because there's so many that are great.
So
But
I
like
guess I can
influence
agree with
wise, when I
that.
was growing up, I was growing up listening to a lot of Akon, and like because he was pretty popular. When my dad came back around, I was listening to that. I was listening to a lot of Tech Nine. I was listening to a lot of Twisted Insane. Kind of like grew into the rap era there, and then like Eminem too. Like early M was like 2006 when I was listening to that. 2007, 2008.
What would be your top song? What's something that back then that you were
But
putting on just spinning, just replay?
uh, I honestly don't even remember. There was like so many like different ones. It was just like phases.
Well, what comes to mind right now? And you can even give a couple. Like, what comes to mind? This, that, this. I listen to this all the time, that all the time.
I used to listen to like Bullet for My Valentine all the time. I used to listen to Tech Nine's Worldwide Choppers all the time because I just wanted to be able to chop as fast as them.
Dude, that song, badass.
Yeah,
Buster
I just wanted to be
Buster
able to.
Rhymes, Buster Rhymes part, dude, was like my favorite. That was my absolute favorite part. I think he
Oh yeah, and
killed
then
it.
Yellow Wolf went hard too.
He did though, man. He did go hard too, dude. I think it's between them two, but I think that maybe I think maybe Busta, man, he took that song, dude. Like he took it all. He killed it. It was more or less because
And
that
Twista
stutter.
went hard too.
Yeah,
Twista
but
went
man,
hard.
he did that fucking Busta did that stutter. That stutter in it, dude. It was the best thing I had ever fucking heard. Like when I first heard that, I died laughing. I was like, "Yo, that shit was great, clever, fantastic, very talented man." I actually, you buffering again?
Yeah, that. Sorry, I'm getting blown up on Messenger.
Oh, I got you. Did you share this out to people? You should have told your people, man. I should have told you to
I did
share it.
share it.
Oh, you did. Are they watching?
I don't know.
It doesn't look like it, but I don't know. My shit always says 0, but there's people on there who watch it all the time, so I just don't know. Um, I think I think I
They
think it's
might be busy.
Bust.
They might come back and watch it later.
I think it was Busta that. So I was watching this Jerry Robinson interview, and he was talking about how he was at this in the studio, and he was about to put down album shit. Like he was talking about signing and all that, and he went out to go smoke. I think it was Busta, man. I think it was him. Fuck, dude. I could be I hate if I'm misquote. I think that's who it was, but he went out there and dude told him don't fuck with that label at all. And so he sat there and thought about it. He's like, man, if this dude is telling me this, that's I gotta heed this warning. And so he walked away from it. And sure enough, look at him now, man. He's on his way the fuck up, And I think it's
Yeah.
definitely a good decision on his part to do that. He used to be selling like CDs and shit out the back of out the trunk of his car back when everybody was still getting, or when everybody was getting like MP3 and nobody was buying CDs anymore. Dead. And he was still out there selling them out of his trunk and shit. He's a hardcore hustler, man, Jerry, for sure. But anyway, if it was Busta
And he's
that
a
did
really
that,
good
I
artist.
I agree. But if Busta was the one that gave him that warning, I think what a good man for that. Whoever gave him that fucking warning, I think that's who it was. But that's really cool that he was looking out for him in that way, because this industry is really rough, dude. People are out there just to get and get and get, take, and they're not
Yeah.
really too interested in giving back much. And I understand that you're trying to make something, make money, make something, make a life, but for what purpose? Kind of like we were touching on materialistic things, dude. You're not a pharaoh in the old days in Egypt, where you're born or buried with your fucking gold and all this stuff because you could take it with you in the afterlife. You're not gonna sit there and in front of God and be like, "Yo, here, man, take that money right there, dude. I got a lot of it." You're not walking into the gates with your pockets full of fucking pearls and diamonds and shit. It just ain't happening. So what's the point? Money to get money to get money. I
Right.
think that, yeah, I think that for you to have a different purpose or more of a purpose, money to get money to give money. It doesn't. So sometimes, even with me in life, we'll have things that we have to buy, and it'll break us down to the last bit where now we're waiting on the next check. We're check to check type people.
Yeah, like check,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, we'll get to a point, and the wife will be like, I'm sorry that we have to buy this or whatever. She gets worried, like, it sucks that we do this. It's just money. That shit come and goes. It's not. It's There's more to be made. There's more to be lost. But the one thing that is priceless on that is the time that we have with each other instead. Like, money is shit. It means nothing if you can't utilize it to to help even yourself spend time with the people that you love or do the things that you love doing, right? What's the fucking point?
Right.
You just like Scrooge McDuck, you're gonna put it in the vault and swim in it, right? It makes no sense, dude. It makes no sense. I want to go out there and touch the world, right? I want to make sure that we have impact, positive impact in society. I really do. That's what I want on my side at least. Which that, but
Yeah. And that's why I support you so much,
dude,
brother. For real.
I so much appreciate that too, man. It means a lot. There was a lot of fake support, and it's good to know the people that really have your back. Shit hit the fan, dude, and it just melts away all that false support, all that false friendship, and then you're left with a real good, strong foundation. You can be. So anyway,
Yeah.
back to you on this. The impacts that you're trying to have on society. Your favorite song, shit song, artist. How long? What in? We'll say we'll do the whole, like, in 5 years. Where do you see yourself? Like, how long do you think it's going to take for you to actually get the traction that you're looking for? Do you have a game
I'm
plan for it
hoping
as
within
well?
the next 5 years that I will have started so I don't know if it's gonna be 5 or 10 year plan. I want to eventually get enough money to get a venue, so then I could support all of the local talent. So then there's a spot for everybody could just come and do music whenever they want. And then that could also, like, I was gonna expand it, put like different things in there that could be like a part of like it. You could, like, somebody could be like making food, somebody could be over here like being like a gym instructor, or like could have a gym, like gymnasium, like make a huge building, just like a rec center for people.
So
That's what
in
I
your
want to.
mind, your dream is to
It might
have,
take 10, 20 years,
yeah,
maybe 10,
sure,
20 years, but eventually, that's the goal. And like, I also want to start a tea company if I can,
good.
like vitamin tea.
Yeah. Hey man, why'd you give it up? You gave the name up there. That was a great name, dude. You were making some fire drinks. Man, they were so good, dude. Me, you, and Punch, man. We were all on it. I miss those days. That was really good, dude. That was good. I think you have a future in that. Just like Punch, man. I think he's got a future in clothes and the
Have a future in
garment.
clothes for
Yeah, dude, for real. Whether
and he's
whether which
amazing. I think people just feel his energy the wrong way sometimes, and
that's what
that's
I
why
tell him.
people. That's why they become aggressive towards him, and it's like I feel like the people just relax because he's a genuine person when it really comes down to it. He's there
Yeah, he
for
is.
others.
Yes, he is. All the fucking way, man. All the way, dude. With all the love and the positivity in the world, too, man. That's why I
For
tell him all
real.
the time, though, too. I tell him that I think that people just perceive your energy wrong, dude. You're hype and you're friendly and you're open and you're awesome and you're funny. But when you're like on the mic, dude, people hear that aggression towards negativity and they think it's negativity. They don't understand that you're talking about the positive way to push out negativity or just saying fuck that shit. And you get these
Yeah,
dark dramatic beats, dude, and people think that you're upset or something. It's like, nah, man, he's beyond that shit, dude.
yeah, he's beyond that. He's on a different wavelength with it. It's
Yeah.
just people just aren't on him. They just don't understand him. That's what it
Not yet.
is. They just
Right, not
punch him
yet.
like punch.
Right. So yeah, I tell him too, man. Or I've been told him, which I don't know if you had heard me say it before, but no matter what, he's definitely making it in the music industry. That's just a fact. But even if he didn't, I think that he has a future in making clothes, man. The designs that he has and that
Yeah,
bag. Remember that fucking bag, bro?
yeah. I have one.
I know. I forgot you made, dude. I forgot. That's Man, y'all motherfuckers. I didn't get to make one, dude. I'm jelly. I'm all peanut butter and jelly over here. That was super cool though. Watching you guys make
Yeah,
that
that was a
stuff.
fun time. That was a great experience. Like to be there with somebody that influenced, because like he made a change too. Like Punch was there for me when I like needed somebody too, and I found his music through another friend who was just like, "Hey, bro, we both in dark places. Look at this guy. Here's a light. Boom." And then
Literal light too.
that just sparked. Yeah, but just just punching through life. Here, punch. Just hit a punching bag, and like that's when it all just started. Life just started punching forward, and then I entered into some sweepstakes, and then he's just like, "You won, bro," and I'm like, "For real?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's me and you flown out, and you're gonna get to like meet all these different like people, and you get to like experience life, bro. That's
Excuse
life
me.
changing. When you can do that for
That's how you met
somebody,
him.
that's when. Yep, that's how you know you made it.
That's pretty.
Like he's made it. He's already legendary status. He's an OG in my
I
book.
I I agree. Not only well, I think in also not in his fans and people that know him. Yes, but not in like the mainstream people, but in the industry. Like I was telling, dude, all the main guys know you. Everybody big knows who the fuck you are. Well, a lot of the big wigs in our side, Midwest and all that shit. Um, Like he's got their attention. They know who he is. That right there says it, dude. You are successful enough for the bigwigs to not only know you but
Yeah.
respect you. So, yeah, man, that's why I said, dude, I don't understand why he ain't in the stratosphere right now. You know, that dude should be just way the fuck up there. You ride along with him though, too, man. You have a lot of talent, and you're very versatile. You know, you're all over the fucking place, and I think that that's very useful.
Yeah, because you never know when you're gonna need some like jack of all trade,
Right?
especially
True.
when it comes to music. You need somebody to do this, you need somebody to do that. Like, not everybody's able to do anything.
Everything. And right, you're right, dude. No joke. And so to be as spread out as you can, that makes yourself indispensable to people, you know. And then on top of it, if you're
Hmm.
just a good person, dude, that's who doesn't want to be involved with you, you know, doing any type of business
Yeah,
or
exactly.
social interaction, right? So yeah, that's good. We're gonna kind of start wrapping it up here. If I'm trying to think of what how I kind of want to end this thing. Dead air. Kind of trying to figure out how I want to end that. I do. Well, one, oh yeah, yeah, I do know where I was going with it. One, I want to thank you for being my first interview. A little choppy on my questions, a little choppy on your signal, but I actually think that this has been a really good one. Are you fucking frozen right now? Perfect timing. Also, another perfect timing for me to say, hit the like, guys, subscribe, share this to your friends,
No,
let
I'm here
everybody
for
know where Anthony is.
you.
What's up? What'd you say? There you go.
I said I'm here. I'm not frozen. I'm always here for you.
Yeah, all right. That's what's up. Yeah, so it was I'm honored that you came on there. It was such a quick thing, you know. If it didn't run so late last night on you coming home, going home and shit, you were gonna do it. You even said that you could have done it last night. If I'd have asked you, you probably would have. So I just want to say I appreciate you for that, man. Thank you so much for being so quick on it. Um, I think again, it was a very good conversation. So give people the heads up, excuse me, heads up on maybe any upcoming things that you have, and let them again know where they can find you.
So I will be eventually dropping, hopefully, an album with the homie Nicholas Pierce, aka Nick. That's
Hold
practice
on, hold on, hold on, hold on,
on
hold
you.
on. Just wait a second.
So I'm
Yeah, hold on,
gonna
hold on,
slowly,
hold on, hold on. I have to
probably
get through a
when I will drop.
signal. Can you hear me? There you go. All right, hold on. I wanted to stop you because you're starting to break up, and I want people
Now.
to hear. Yeah, I wanted people to hear. So you were talking about your boy that you're dropping the album with, and we didn't get to hear his full name, his AKA
AK or Northside Nick. And then
Northside.
I'm gonna be dropping the album Practice Equals Pro with a bunch of homies, and I'm gonna try to drop more singles of it. Probably gonna start with the song that I have with Punch, and then the next one is the one with Zach.
And you say
And
practice equals what?
practice equals progress.
Progress. Okay, because you chopped out. Just wanted you to say it. So practice equals progress is the album. You might be possibly dropping out a few of the singles, one of them with Punch, which is fucking awesome, dude. I'm sure that this song is just fantastic. So, all right, we got a few of those things upcoming. Um, I know you're not
And
gonna give a
people can
solid.
find me on all social medias.
All social medias under your name, Anthony Boggs, or on Facebook, Anthony Daniel Boggs, correct?
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Um, I think that was
Appreciate you,
I'm gonna
brother,
wait
having
until
me on.
there you go. Yeah, I think that was number one in the books, dude. So thank you so much, man, for being the icebreaker. I do think that it was really good, man. It was cool. It was so thanks, man. I'm glad that we got to get a little bit deeper into who Anthony is, what Anthony wants, and where Anthony's going. I do think that everybody
And I
who
mean,
wants
if you ever have another one, we could always do another interview sometime. Any other questions you ever have, or if people ever have any questions down in the comments that they want to ask me, I could answer any questions.
absolutely, I think that's fucking awesome. Thank you. And for sure, man, this is one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to start off with maybe the people closest to me and then move out to people that I know, just not as like we lived together and shit, before. So I wanted to start off with that because I knew that I would have more access to you. And after hopefully this gains some popularity, if we get some views and stuff, I want to revisit and give you another opportunity for an interview when we have maybe a bigger crowd so you can kind of get that the viewing numbers up that you should. I'm thinking that we should have been having thousands of people already watching this shit right now. So even even with the choppy signal. So yeah, I think that that's awesome, man. Thank you for the offer and the open invitation to it, and I'll take you up on that. I will tell you, and hopefully you're hearing me right now with your choppiness. Wait for a second, let him come back. There he is. They're starting to come back.
I can hear you. If you ever need a logo, you because I have
If I ever need love and goo goo, I have finger.
no. I said, "Can you hear me now?" And I said, "If you need a logo, you know I got you."
I do know, man. I have them saved still too, dude. I was actually going to use it for, or I think I used one for one of my lives, but I let it go private and shit. So, yeah, man. I remember you made it for me so I can do lights, so I can make a shirt or a backpack or something. So I appreciate that too,
Yep,
man. Those logos are fucking awesome and saved. So thanks.
you already know. I always got you, brother.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. All right, dude. Well, again, have a good night. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody, check out Anthony Boggs. Look him up on all social medias. Anthony Daniel Boggs on Facebook. Dude's coming out with fantastic music. He's got big plans for this world. Follow him and watch, be a part of it. So, thanks again, man, and talk to you guys next time.
Yep,
Peace.
much love. Peace.